Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up on today's episode, we've got bell ringers.
Ding, ding, ding.
The Salvation Army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the Salvation Army ring a bell?
What?
It's a joke.
I don't get it.
Oh. Oh, dear.
It's going to be one of those shows, everyone.
I guess so. Good Lord.
Frank's
Anyway.
feeling contrary.
So, normal then.
Thanks, Dan.
Anyway.
All right. Well, what's going on? Should we get going?
Yeah, launch in.
Okay. Well, for the sake of starting with something and just jumping on into it. Did you hear about Venezuela?
No. I mean, I know that it's a country.
The headline says, "For the sake of happiness, Venezuela's president moves up Christmas."
Huh?
I love this story so much.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What'd he do?
Well, he this is what he says. He says, "Today, on this first day of November, we decided to declare the arrival of Christmas because we want happiness for all people."
You gotta give us time to shop.
I know, right? Yeah, he's totally like
Who is their president now?
Maduro.
Oh, that's right. Maduro.
Nicolas Maduro.
You say Venezuela, and all I can think of is Hugo Chavez, and
Yeah.
he's gone, so Maduro.
Yeah. Yeah.
So wait, is he saying that, like, now is Christmas, and then tomorrow it's over?
I
Like,
think what
was
he means is that it is officially the beginning of the Christmas season.
Wow. He pisses me off then.
Well,
'Cause I'm already
he's
seeing...
made Target happy.
Yeah, well, Target's already doing it, so...
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
but
yeah.
now they feel like,
With impunity.
Yeah,
Now it's like presidentially
sanctioned.
sanctioned early Christmas nonsense. It's fine. It's funny because I'm fine with Christmas and I'm fine with shopping and I'm fine with, everybody wants to get everybody presents and I think that that's fun. But when I see Costco has their Christmas aisle like rolling in September, in August,
No, it's awful.
I want to punch everybody.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
For some reason, though, I will say this. It's weird. I mean, I go to Costco every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Pick up some stuff. Right?
Sure.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
When you're like, when
Yeah.
you don't have kids or
Right.
a large family,
Right.
right?
You're not buying 5 gallons of whipped butter or whatever.
Every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's so anyway, so I go and I have a few little things I just like to get at Costco. And I give them a little bit of I don't know why, but I give them a pass on starting early because it's a big warehouse and it feels like it's all about just buying shit in bulk. And if you're like, you know what I mean? Like I don't I go and I'm like, oh yeah, they're getting ready for Christmas. Right, so people can start getting ready for Christmas. And it just totally feels different than when you're at the supermarket and it's 3 days before Halloween and they're taking down all the Halloween stuff
And putting up
Christmas. And I was like, well, what about the people who are buying candy late? Are they going to be giving out like candy canes to the kids?
Yes, they should be.
Like really? Like it...
Little Christmas trees and whatnot.
Yeah. But yeah, this article about Maduro, a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The writer was having fun. A Jolly Maduro says that an early Christmas is the best vaccine for whoever wants to start rioting and violence.
Oh. So it's an anti-violence technique.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's not children that are rioting, in
Yeah.
which case it might not work. But I think he'll be able to ward off those children rioters really well.
Oh, hopefully.
I think he's got a good plan on his hands there.
You just kind of just stick your hand out and hold their head.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, you get the guys in their riot gear with their handheld outward.
And the kids can just sit there and swing and flail their arms all around. But you just hold them back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Good angle. A kid's not getting you.
Although the kids have their own weapons. They leave their Legos lying around. You step on those things. That does not feel good.
Yeah. It's surprising how sharp they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in another part of the world, where is this? Memphis. No.
Tennessee?
Not Memphis. Sorry, Minneapolis.
Tennessee?
Minneapolis, Tennessee. Or Minnesota, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a hubbub surrounding a school bus driver.
Oh?
George Nathaniel III was fired.
Never trust anybody with a number after their name.
Says Frank Henry Feldman IV.
Wait, he was fired? Why was he fired?
Because he has been praying with his kids in the school bus every morning.
Really?
And he was asked to stop, and he refused.
Why?
Because how else are you going to keep those kids safe? You got to get the Lord involved.
You better start paying attention to the road.
Yeah,
you want to keep them safe
exactly.
as a bus driver.
It does make one wonder what this guy, he's like, oh, I'm drunk again. Lord Jesus, please bless these children that they get to school safe, because I am in no position to be driving this vehicle right now. Mr. Nathaniel, don't close your eyes while you're driving. Lord Jesus, you better help me, because I'm in some trouble here.
Okay, so he refuses to stop.
He just wouldn't stop. He said he told the media.
What do we know about him and his religion? Like, what is he? Do we know anything about that?
He's Christian.
Well,
I think he's non-denominational. Well, let's see. He is a pastor at Elite Church of the Firstborn and Grace Ministry. The Elite, I think the whole name of this church, I couldn't even get through it. Elite Church of the Firstborn and Grace Ministry Baptist Church in Minneapolis.
I have a feeling, just judging it by its name, that there's not much elite. Not much that's elite about that church.
It's so elite that only a few people go to it.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
If that's your definition of elite.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's clear that being a pastor isn't paying all the bills, because he had to be a bus driver, too.
Apparently he's, so very good pastor.
So, yeah.
In demand.
He said, quote, to fire a bus driver for praying for the safety of the children, he said it's not right.
What is this country coming to?
I know. It's just, it's just so sad. So he was directed by his company. He wasn't hired by the school themselves. He's hired by some contracting company or something.
Outsourced bus service.
Right, and he was directed to stop it. And
is that what his write-up said?
I don't know. Yeah, cut it out. And he said, I let them know that I am a pastor and I am going to pray.
Ugh.
Well, it's so dumb. Keep it to your goddamn self.
Yeah, no kidding. Pray all you want.
Pray
all you want.
The entire time you're driving, just do it not out loud.
Yeah. Because guess what?
And you're fine.
99% of the parents, if not 100%, considering how successful a pastor he is, whose kids are on that bus, don't want you praying with them.
No, because you could do some weird prayer.
Yeah. Ooh, I mean, I remember when I was, still Mormon, and I would hear like other forms of prayer that weren't Mormon, like the other patterns, and I would just be like, it would make me so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, I went over when I was a kid, I went over to my friend's house, in the neighborhood for dinner. Yeah. And I didn't know that they weren't like me. I just assumed everybody in the world was Mormon at the time because I was little.
Clearly, yeah.
And I was in Salt Lake City, so it's an easy assumption to make.
Right.
And we sit at the table, and suddenly they all grab each other's hands and grab my hands. And I'm like,
oh my God,
we're holding hands. Why are we holding hands? What's happening? And they say some, whatever Christian prayer.
Right.
But the whole time I was like, I'm so uncomfortable. This is not a real prayer. I know what real prayers are like, and this is wrong.
Uh-huh.
For all I knew, they were doing Satan stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I had been exposed to my grandmother's like grace.
Mm.
She would say grace.
Sure.
And it was some "Come Lord Jesus, be our guest," blah 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 thing.
Oh, it was like a little poem.
It was a little poem. Yeah, it was cute.
Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub.
Yeah, it was a little more reverent than that. She was a very religious woman.
Right.
She just wasn't Mormon.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Mr. Nathaniel described what would happen, and in fairness, this is totally harmless. When you hear about it, it feels much better. He says we would start out with a song, and then each person will pray if they want to pray. If they don't want to pray, they don't have to pray. Then I will pray and ask them if they want to join me in prayer. Just give them something constructive and positive to go to school with. See? Nothing offensive.
It sounds really complicated.
That's the worst.
It's a whole service.
That is the worst bus ride to school ever.
Those kids
Even if you
hated it.
believe in it, it's like
They still hated it.
awful. You sing a song, that's great, but then there's probably a Jesus song at that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Like I was an uber believer
Right.
when I was a kid. If somebody had done that, even if they were like Mormon, I would have been
felt
like
so weird.
I would have just been like, again.
I know.
Still, this is my one moment when I don't have this crap in my life.
Right. Yeah. You would have known that that's not the appropriate venue.
Oh yeah. Although I did call my my kindergarten teacher, sister, whatever her last name was.
Did you really?
For like a couple weeks. And my mom had to get involved and
Set you
explain
straight.
it to me because the teacher tried to explain it to me.
And you're like, what
I
do
was
you
like, what do you mean,
sister
you're-
so-and-so? Oh, good Lord. Yeah, that was always an interesting thing, the brother-sister thing. Because, especially like in Salt Lake, where the venue, where everybody's Mormon or knows about Mormonism.
Right. Yeah.
I'll bet that happens all the damn time here.
Oh, yeah. Little kids getting a little confused. Yeah, absolutely.
Sister Rodriguez? You always call me Miss Rodriguez. Why?
Because that's what we say here. Okay. All right. I've got one. There's a new book coming out.
Yay! I like
for
books.
atheists.
Oh, it's for us. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what is it?
It's from a guy, Peter Boghossian,
Okay.
who is a professor of philosophy, teaches, I think, logic classes.
Okay.
I think up in Portland State University.
Oh.
And the title of the book is A Manual for Creating Atheists.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Sounds good, right? Let's create some atheists.
I don't
and here's
know.
how.
Okay.
So he has he has sort of laid out a pattern, and he instructs the reader how to approach non-atheists and convert them to atheism. And
Okay. I'm a little creeped out by this. I'm not entirely comfortable right now.
And he is a proselyting atheist.
Obviously.
And he goes, he confronts people. He said that there's one specific woman at the grocery store, one specific checker that he always goes to because he can tell that she's on the verge, and so he always goes and chats her up while she's bringing her
Oh my God.
bringing up his food, and she's probably just being polite.
Yeah.
And it turns out no, he's trying to deconstruct her Christianity and convert her.
Here, let me kick that stool out from under you real quick. Look, so here's the thing. Obviously, I've said this, I'm on the record on this. I would prefer a world without religion. I would prefer that.
Absolutely. If
But-
you could just pick.
But I don't. But
That's what I would pick.
proselyte, I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
it's just as annoying when we do it as it is when they do it.
Absolutely.
Is that what we want? A
I
war of conversions?
No.
Jesus Christ. Ding dong. I mean, I joke about it this, because everyone here knows that Mormons are missionaries and stuff. And so I make jokes about, like, do you want to take the atheist discussion?
Sure.
It's a joke
It's harmless.
about
It's
Mormon.
a cute little joke.
Right. But I'm not going, I mean, it would be ding dong. Hello, sir. Would you like to hear a message of nothingness and, light, I guess? It's made us happier. I can't really promise that for you. Truth.
Yeah. Clearly. Clearly it's not going to work for everyone. Like, and he even admits, I guess, in the book, of how he had these weird feelings of his mother on her deathbed, his religious mother.
Right.
She's dying, and he's on he's hell bent on deconverting people from Christianity, and he's sitting there, and he had these mixed emotions about, I need to save her from her Christianity before she dies.
Why?
And it's like, why?
You don't believe anything happens afterwards.
Exactly.
That's crazy talk.
It's atheist fundamentalism.
It is, but it's so weird.
It's really strange stuff.
It's this tribalistic instinct that we all feel. I mean, I get it. We all feel it. We all want to be part of an in-group.
Right.
And we all want others that we like or that we love to be part of our in-group. It's just part of our thinking. It's how our brains are wired.
Absolutely.
But God damn it, don't do it. Okay, look, this is a PR problem that our entire movement has right now, you guys. All of you guys should know, every time you go out and try and convert someone, you're damaging your own credibility and the credibility, and you're making atheists look like dicks all over the place, just as much as they are when they try and convert you to Christianity.
Right.
So I implore you guys, if someone asks you, tell them about your experience.
Absolutely. The best thing you can do as an atheist, I think, is to live your life and be good
and be happy
and be an example.
Yeah.
And be open, right?
Right.
Ultimately, being open and being sort of out of the closet,
right,
as an atheist is one of the most powerful things you can do. Now, obviously, there are times and moments when being out isn't the smart thing,
right?
But if you can, it's the best thing you can do. Buying this book, and buy it, read it. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah.
But going out and trying to convert people it's the worst. A mess.
It's the worst idea. The other thing is that, like, and I get it. I want my family members to be in my group too, because frankly, I mean, my wife's family is all Mormon.
Right.
There's some very uncomfortable moments with that. I would love for them to be in my group.
Yeah.
But if I try to convert them, all I'm going to be doing is, I mean, there's basically two roads that can go down. Either A, I'm successful, but that's not very likely.
Right.
Or B, they just hate me.
Well, Dan, they probably don't like you already, so...
Well, that's true. No, they love me. Like I say, it comes from an honest place.
Yeah.
This thing. But don't do it. Don't just say no.
Yeah.
And
I was seriously because I was sitting around, over the weekend and last week and just starting to feel the need to pick up another atheist book.
Sure.
I was like, I really need something. And so I got on Amazon, and this thing was it's hot off the presses. And I was like, oh wow. And I kind of started looking around and then started seeing it popping up and starting to get some press. And I was like, oh wow, I very rarely actually know the new book before it's even being reviewed. And I was like, oh wow, well maybe I should get that one. And then I started reading reviews of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I know, maybe I'll read it.
I'll read it just because I'm curious about the tactics that he wants to employ.
He suggests. Yeah, I know.
But
this was actually fun. One of the articles I found about this, The author pulls together some quotes from Boghossian and some quotes from Billy Graham. To kind of give you a sense of how what is this guy's perspective?
Right.
Okay, so I want to read these quotes.
Yeah.
And you're going to
guess. And I'm going to guess who's who.
Who's who.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
a lot of people feel some religious belief in their hearts. Excuse me. Buddhists, Muslims, Mormons, people who think the Emperor of Japan is divine, but they can't all be correct.
Oh.
Is that Billy Graham or Peter Boghossian?
Billy Graham.
Nope.
Oh, it's Boghossian.
It's
Damn
Boghossian.
It. Okay.
Truth does not differ from one page to another, from one people to another, from one geographical location to another.
That's Graham.
Okay. That is correct. The goal of this book is to create a generation who actively go into the streets, the prisons, the bars, the churches, the schools, and the community.
He said churches, which makes me think it's Boghossian. But then he said prisons, and would he really advocate people? Yeah, Boghossian. I'm going Boghossian.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, all right.
He's advocating people going into a prison and going into a church.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to teach you guys all about how wrong you are. Hey, everybody. Can I have your attention for a minute? I know what you're here to do. I've got an alternate suggestion.
The streets. He goes into the street. Like, he does street preaching.
Well, if he's trying to convert...
He's a nut.
He's a nut.
He lives in Portland. He has some space to be a nut.
Somebody tell Fred Armisen about this guy.
Okay.
It'll show up.
Let's see. It makes me feel awesome. What would it take for you to open up yourself to that gift?
Awesome. It sounds like it might be Graham trying to be young. I don't know. Who is it?
Oh, it's Boghossian. Okay. I feel sorry for the man who has never known the bracing thrill of taking a stand and sticking to it fearlessly. Moral courage has rewards that timidity can never imagine.
Graham.
That is Graham.
Yeah, but it could be either. I mean, your point is valid. That
one more.
Okay, one more.
There is no other way to arrive at the truth.
Then what?
Well, it's just
there's no other.
There is no other way.
If there's only one way to arrive at the truth, this could be either of them. Those little bastards. Boghossian.
That one was Boghossian.
Okay.
But just to highlight how sort of strident and closed-minded he is in his atheism.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's not like you and I are open-minded in the sense that we think, we act, if a Mormon missionary came to our door, we'd be like, "Oh yeah, let me consider that."
Oh, dear God, no.
But we're not going to be like, "We know all the real things and you guys are
There
idiots."
is no other way.
Right, yeah.
There is no other way.
Shut up, Boghossian. Just shut up. Boghossian.
So go out and buy it.
Okay. So in Texas, in the Birdville Independent School District.
Birdville? Birdville?
Yeah, I said Birdville. The American Humanist Association has formally sent a complaint to that school district.
Oh.
And the reason is because a young man named Isaiah Smith.
Okay.
They claim his First Amendment rights have been trampled.
Oh no! How?
Well, this is interesting. He's gay.
Okay.
And you can imagine that in Birdville, Texas. I don't know if that's the name of the town, but I kind of like the name Birdville.
It has to be the name of a town.
Right.
Ville.
Anyway,
Birdville.
So small area of Texas, which you and I know quite well because we've been to them.
Well, we drove straight through.
Shh.
We didn't
we experienced it.
We didn't see all of Texas. It's a big place.
It's a big place.
Has its own power grid.
Yeah, we went top to bottom though, pretty much.
Yeah.
Amarillo to Houston, that's a pretty good stretch.
It was a stretch.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Texas.
It's a big town. It's a big
It
state.
was a little too much Texas. I hate to say it.
Don't mess with Texas.
I'm not.
Okay.
But it's a lot of Texas.
It is a lot of Texas. Anyway, he said that he was repeatedly told being gay was a sin, that gays go to hell, like all of this Jesus talk
Right.
about his queerness.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
That's a gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna do. It's a gonna happen. Apparently, the kid is Christian. He's just non-denominational, like non-anti-gay Christian or whatever. Anyway, he brought a Bible to school, and he ripped out the pages of Leviticus that had the nastiness.
Rip them out.
Yeah, just tore them right the hell out.
Well, that's making quite the point.
He was making an interesting point, but the thing is, so he did this in his first period class, and then he got sent to the principal's office or the assistant principal's office, or who told him he could continue carrying around the ripped Bible, but he shouldn't tear out any more pages. Don't keep doing that. You can have your Bible. Just stop tearing out all the pages.
Most of the Bible is fine.
You
Just don't diminish it anymore.
You done hurt everybody's feelings. I'm gonna let you slide. Just leave in all the stuff about
Don't get to that New Testament part. Don't start ripping out the red words.
You pull out a red word.
Yeah,
We're gonna have some red words for you. And then so he gets off, and then later in the day gets called back in, and they suspend him
for what?
Farting on Jesus.
What?
I think that's the official complaint, that he was farting on Jesus.
No, he wasn't.
He was asked, how would Muslims feel if a student was tearing up the Quran?
That's true.
Suddenly, Texans are very sensitive to the Muslim plight.
No, they're not.
That's a big shocker.
It was a rhetorical...
yeah, it was a trick.
Yeah.
It was a trick. Oh, and his Bible was confiscated.
What?
Yeah. Give me that.
The damaged Bible was taken away from him?
Yes.
I don't know. I think you should be allowed to modify your Bible however you want.
It's his book.
Yeah.
He bought it.
Maybe he shouldn't be bringing a Bible at all to school.
But
it's okay.
But he has that right too.
I don't have any problem with him having a Bible at school, but if you're going to quibble,
right?
If you're going to get weird about the Bible,
yeah,
then that seems more appropriate. I don't know, but even that's not appropriate.
No, there's nothing okay about punishing this boy for tearing out pages of a book.
He was religious expressing.
Yeah, expressing. Yeah, I mean the thing is that, like, do your counter protest. Get your Walt Whitman Leaves of Grass and tear out a couple pages of that thing or something.
Well,
because he was
hopefully
gay.
It's not the school's copy.
Well, yes.
I wouldn't expect any of these kids to have their own copy.
What are these, poems? I don't read poems. Did you get to sign this, boy? Yeah. No, I went and bought my own copy, Dad. Oh, boy, we're going to send you to anti-gay camp.
You're going to start tearing pages out of the Bible, aren't
you? Next thing you know, you'll tear some pages out the Bible. No boy of mine's going to read no queer poetry.
And no home ec for you either.
That's right. Matter of fact, we're homeschooling you from now on.
Oh, poor kid. Okay, so what's happening then? So what's
happening.
That's all that's happening.
I did the story. It's done.
Okay. Then I'm moving on to Paula Abdul.
Oh, you are so excited about Paula Abdul. Here's the thing, folks. I know nothing about this story except that Frank was like, have you heard about Paula Abdul? And I was like, no, not yet. And he was like, freaking out about this story.
Well, don't build it up too much. Now you've established expectations that I don't know that it actually...
I am expressing my own expectations.
Oh, my goodness.
We will see how this goes. I'm excited, though.
Well, so apparently Paula Abdul, she might still be there. She's in Jerusalem at the moment.
Oh.
And she arrived on the 5th, so a few days ago.
Sure.
And jet lagged.
Oh.
As you do.
It would be awful.
And she originally had planned to have a private religious ceremony. I'm sorry. Not very private. A religious ceremony for her at the praying wall.
Oh, is she Jewish?
Paula Abdul is Jewish.
Okay,
and she was going to perform her long overdue bat mitzvah.
Oh, she's never had her bat mitzvah.
She's never bat mitzvahed.
Oh.
Bat mitzvahed. Bat.
So
Bat,
she's...
right? Bat.
Stop saying bat.
But anyways, normally it's like, around like 13.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah. It's
12
in that,
or 13,
it's in
somewhere
that
around there.
area.
And it's a coming of age ceremony,
Sure.
blah, blah, blah. So she arrives, and it was like gonna at the Western Wall. She was going to have this big bat mitzvah, which I didn't even know was like a thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait a second, is Paula Abdul Jewish like Madonna's Jewish, or like what is the deal? Well, no, she like grew up in a very observant Jewish family.
Oh.
Which kind of really,
But they didn't bat mitzvah her?
which is really weird. Her father is a Syrian Jew whose family immigrated to Brazil,
Oh.
and her mother is Canadian with Jewish roots.
Oh. Which sounds like a hair thing.
It does. It sounds like she has dark.
Her mother is blonde with Jewish roots. Oh, Lord.
But yeah, so she apparently has decided at the age of 51 that she needs to bat mitzvah. And
but because she's a rich American, she needs to do it at the wall.
Where else?
She needs to have a special one. It can't just be it can't just be at like temple whatever. It's got to be at the good one.
Oh yeah, no,
It's gotta
clearly. What was the stuff that was making me really, really, really
all
laugh?
of the other fly girls were there. Wasn't she a fly girl, or was that was Jennifer Lopez?
Yeah,
Maybe they were both. I don't know.
I don't know. She was quite the choreographer. I know that.
That's true.
And she started off as a cheerleader for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh,
I don't know if you knew that.
no, I did not.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Paula Abdul.
Yeah,
I remember her. Do you remember her little moment in Bruno, the Sacha Baron Cohen movie? Bruno.
What did happen? I don't
When
remember.
he showed up or somehow there was an interview. I don't remember much about it, but I think he had a Mexican person come over as her seat, and he convinced her to sit on this Mexican
that's
guy while he
right.
interviewed her.
That's right. Yeah.
And she did it.
Oh God, that's amazing. Anyways, I mean, our younger listeners might know her almost strictly from American Idol,
Right, that's true.
But
us old folk remember her from Dancing with a Cartoon Cat on MTV.
yeah, that's true. Apparently, she was married at one point to Emilio Estevez.
Oh,
Blows my mind. And I don't know. Maybe this was just striking me really funny earlier, like all these details of like.
it is. I mean,
You just don't know a lot about her, and then all of a sudden you find out that she's 51 and bat mitzvahing in Jerusalem,
Right, yeah.
at the temple wall.
So wait, you said that they were trying to do it. Did it go wrong, or
Okay, so this is what happened. That was the plan, and then she arrives, and she's a guest of Israel's tourism ministry,
okay,
and
that's nice.
Apparently, she made a last-minute change
Oh,
to her itinerary
Oh, dear.
because she was jet lagged.
because she's Paula Abdul and she gets to do whatever she wants.
And they're no longer doing her high-profile ceremony at the wall,
Oh,
and instead have decided for a private weekend affair. So happening as we speak, perhaps. Well, not as we speak, but in the in a northern town.
oh, that's a shame.
And
That is just isn't that always the way?
yeah,
There
was going to be a media circus.
a good.
and-
They were going to have a good Hollywood style 51-year-old bat mitzvah, the way you do. And then it just gets ruined because people don't get it.
Right.
You don't get it. That's Paula Abdul.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not just some anybody.
No.
People. I tell you, Jews. I will never understand them.
I think that's the takeaway.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I'm thinking more Paula Abdul.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
What I
never
don't
understand
understand.
it.
What I don't understand is celebrity worship. But I mean, especially in something like this. I understand a business not being able to turn away a celebrity even when they make outrageous demands, because a celebrity gives you a shit ton of free publicity and blah blah blah. But a nation, a religion, these they don't need it. They don't need Paula Abdul's help. I'm afraid, Miss Abdul, you're going to have to go to a different city and do whatever.
Well, that apparently ended up being the conversation.
Yeah,
clearly.
Yeah,
somebody was like, "We're not going to have you degrade this,
Miss Abdul. Fuck you. On you go. On your way, little lady."
Poor dear.
It's a shame.
She's just trying to she's trying to become a woman.
She's trying to Jew up, is what she's trying. She's trying to put on her big girl Jew clothes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
She is trying to become a woman. She hasn't been a woman this whole time.
This whole time.
She has not been a woman.
Saying.
Oh, it is a shame. Wow. Does that mean that she's in her adolescence? As soon as she goes through this.
I mean, she's barely a teen.
No.
She could be a tween.
She's a tween. Like, the worst look. She is in bad shape for a tween.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's had some work done. So she looks okay.
She's doing okay.
She definitely doesn't look 51.
No.
She looks 43.
In this case, the word tween means she's somewhere between 14 and 51.
I thought you were cosmetic surgeons. That's what I thought she was between.
She's
tween.
Tween Dr. Rosenblum and Dr. One of them does her Botox. The other one does the lifts. All right. Okay, so I'm going to set up a story.
Okay.
And we'll see where
it goes,
where you think it's going and stuff.
Okay.
Northwest Christian University.
Okay.
Is up in the Pacific Northwest somewhere. Where is that?
Well done.
Well, you were saying things about. Anyway, it's up there, and so what happened was their student body president. It's not a big school.
Okay.
But their student body president, he's a 21-year-old. He wrote an op-ed in the school newspaper, coming out of the closet as atheist.
At a Christian college?
At Northwest Christian University. Isn't that something? So,
and what happened?
Well, you tell me. What do you think?
There has been. It's in the Northwest. So, I think that he has been. Well, he's been disciplined somehow. I think he's probably no longer president of the student body, but I don't think they've kicked him out.
Well, you're right on one point. He has not been kicked out.
Oh,
he is also still student body president, and
what?
Everybody's rallying to him.
What?
Everybody's cool.
This must not be a very Christian university.
They're clearly doing it wrong. They need to get their act together.
Wait,
Everybody's
what
on
brand
board.
of Christian? I guess I made assumptions. What are they like? Is it really? Should it actually be called an Anglican,
as opposed to Christian
Episcopal university?
No, then
Unitarian Universalist.
It was established in 1895.
Oh, they're not really Christian.
It's nestled next to the much larger University of Oregon. So there we are. That'll give you your place. He was raised baptized Lutheran but attended Methodist church.
How does that work? These people.
It's not all generic, you guys.
Yeah.
You can't just bounce around.
Oh, okay.
I guess you
can. I guess. Well, at a certain point,
yeah,
you'd have to really quibble.
Yeah,
to figure out the difference between a Lutheran and a Methodist.
I got news for you, man. As far as I'm concerned, when you get really down to brass tacks, you're kind of, other than like external trappings, like clothing and like dress code and food, trying to tell the difference between any of the Adamic religions is almost impossible.
Yeah.
I mean,
what? Really?
Theologically speaking?
Really? Really?
Was that a Muppet voice that just came out of you?
Really, Dan? Is that what you're saying?
I think they're all basically the same.
Right.
They have little details that are different. Anyway, no. So they said he was worried as hell when he did it.
Yeah.
But he worked with his friend who was the editor of the school's newspaper, the Beacon Bolt.
Cute name,
I guess. And then he so he did it, and everybody kind of rallied to him.
I swear, this is damned Oregon.
Right? Well, I mean, I love that this went this direction. I mean, it's so easy for us to stereotype Christians and stuff, and we want to. Lord knows we love doing it.
Yeah.
But I do love this, and I love the fact that like the vice president of the school was like, you know what, here's what he said. Is this the vice? Yeah, it's the university's vice president for enrollment and student development.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's a man of very high character and respect. He's a great advocate for our student body, which is exactly what he's supposed to be and do. I want students like Eric here. Students who are looking to explore their faith and willing to look hard and make their faith their own.
Or non-faith.
He said, I mean, and he's honest. He says if we had our wishes, we would wish Eric was to be a strong Christian man. But we're open, and we're an open and welcome community, and we meet students exactly where they're at.
It doesn't sound very Christian. This is like... This sounds
extremely Christian to me. This sounds what real Christian is.
Yeah, but let's face it, that doesn't usually happen.
Right.
It's, like, how many universities in this country were founded by some religious group?
Yeah.
A lot. And now they're pretty distanced from it.
Right.
This school, this Christian university, is like 5 years from dropping Christian from the name. With that kind of response to that, that's my feeling.
I don't know.
I think it's been taken over by people who are a little too liberal, a little too liberal to be good Christians.
I don't know. All I know is that I am very impressed, and I love it. I think it's
to be not to be. That sounded bad. A little too liberal to be good Christians. I think liberals can be good Christians. I think they're a little too liberal to have Christian in their name.
Okay. I just think that they're doing Christianity right.
Yeah, but those kind of Christians don't go around throwing the word Christian around.
Well, you are now currently proven wrong. We'll see in 5 years.
Yeah, we'll see in 5 years.
You check back in.
I will.
Okay.
I'm making a note right here. Siri, remind me in 5 years.
Okay, Frank, I will remind you in 5 years. If you want to get in touch with us, folks, these are things that's a doable thing. Yeah. That's a can-do situation.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Right. Or you can email us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Indeed.
We're going to take a quick break.
We're going to hear some fun.
We are going to hear some fun.
Some fun audio.
Super fun.
We're gonna hear Pat Robertson not know what someone's doing wrong.
Okay.
Debbie writes, my son is hearing impaired and cannot hear at all. I have prayed for his healing. It seems as if God is hearing impaired. What am I doing wrong?
It may be a spirit of deafness. I have dealt with people who are deaf, and you rebuke a spirit of deafness and they get healed. So I don't know what you're doing wrong. I don't know your son. I don't know you. I don't know what the situation is, but why don't you try that?
Oh.
He's cured deafness.
He has cured, yeah.
It's a spirit of deafness. If you have a spirit of deafness in you,
rebuke it.
Just rebuke that. She's clearly doing it wrong. She was probably just praying to God for her son to be healed when she needed to be rebuking the spirit of deafness.
Yeah.
That makes lots of sense.
I had a spirit of diabetes for about 6 months.
Oh, okay.
And it was bad. It was really bad.
Nobody enjoys that.
Nobody does. And then I rebuked it.
That's nice. I had a spirit of diarrhea, and boy, I rebuked the hell out of that. It was awful. It's stinky, too.
Dan.
Don't just stare at me. All right. Well, we did have some lovely people correspond with us.
Ah, yes. Correspondence.
I'm gonna, even when I just try to narrow it down, there's so many good stuff, so much good stuff out there. So I'm gonna plow through a bunch of stuff here. We had someone calling herself an unrepentant atheist Mormon lesbian.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I know.
And she said that she was listening to our most recent podcast, 102.
Okay.
And and she said that something piqued her curiosity. From what I gather, she says there are many atheist Mormons that no longer believe, but will not go through the process of getting their name removed from the official records because it will break their blank, insert your dead relative or your beloved relative's name, heart. This sparked my curiosity, so I have a few questions. When a person removes their name from church records, is a newsletter sent out en masse to all their relatives, or are all the Mormon
Facebook announces it.
Yeah, exactly. Are they all incessantly checking church records to make sure every member of the family is still accounted for?
I like that theory too.
Yeah, that's good. She's just really curious about that. How would they find out? Because this is a very real concern.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have written in about it.
Okay. I'll tell you how they'll find out.
Okay.
There's a couple different ways.
Right.
The main one is if you live, if you go to church with your parents or live in sort of the same area and your parents' ward is in the same stake as your ward.
Right.
Okay. Just throw out some good Mormon words there. Then it will actually appear on their records. You will appear on their records as their son or daughter, and it will show. There's a bit of information that it'll show. I think it'll if it's a son, it will show I think what priesthood he holds. I think I remember stuff like that.
Something like that.
But it will show up that their records are linked to your records.
Right. So on your records, these other people show up.
The other people show up because you're in the same sort of jurisdiction as them. If you're not, then you won't be showing up anyways.
Right.
And so if you live all the way across the country and you have this is also key, if you have your records out with you, then you're fine. Or as long as you know that your records aren't in your parents' ward.
But here's the other thing.
Because here's the thing.
Okay, go ahead.
At the end of the year, you do tithing settlement. I think we've mentioned it before.
Right.
And this is the moment, this is the shakedown moment that the bishop has with you, where he's like, you clearly have not paid enough tithing, and I'm not going to let you go to the temple anymore until you do.
Right.
And you're like, oh, and so you write the big check for the remainder if you're going to come clean. Anyways, that's tithing settlement. Tithing settlement is also a moment when they slide your records across the table and say, does everything look right here?
Right.
Okay, so they're not supposed to disclose, you can claim all you want in your letter to them that they are, that this is confidential and they're not to disclose it. Well, the issue is that, there's a few things, just bookkeeping stuff that they do and how they do it that does disclose it.
The way that it discloses it is not that they tell somebody, but rather the name stops showing up.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, why? Where did his records go? He still lives down the street.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. A bishop will hear about this or whatever, and every now and then, because these are lay bishops, these are not guys that are, sort of trained well.
No. They've got a big, thick handbook. And do they know everything in it?
No. So, you'll get bishops who are more than happy once they get the thing that just says, by the way, this person's not a member anymore. The bishop will go to your family and be like, hey, I'm concerned about Jim.
If he knows your family.
Yeah.
And it could be like a, if he just knows your family.
Yeah. So, again.
Your parents could have moved away and he's still in touch with them and he calls them up.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing can happen. So these are the things that people are concerned about.
Right.
And it's legit. That stuff does happen. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Lesbo, for writing in. I
forgot for a second, but she gave us...
that's all we got. That's how she signed it. Unrepentant atheist, Mormon, lesbian. And she explained that she's Mormon only in the sense that she's too lazy to send it.
Right, exactly. Okay. Moving on.
Alan wrote in and said, thought you would find it not at all surprising. This is a reference to another story that we did. That Mississippi passed a law in 2001 requiring "In God We Trust" to be displayed in every public school classroom.
Oh.
So apparently it's already worked.
Yeah.
We didn't know that.
When Mississippi is sort of the test case.
Is the template.
Yeah. You know it's good.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Yeah. So yeah, apparently it's all over. The displays must meet a minimum dimension requirement, and their absence can be reported in an audit.
Yeah.
On top of that, the state didn't provide any funding for the displays, so Mississippi's own American Family Association stepped up to provide most of them all.
Oh my God.
Well, at least they didn't use taxpayer money for it.
Yeah.
So
Xerox off a bunch of pages,
right?
Tape them to the wall.
Just tape it sort of.
We're complying.
Askew.
Yeah.
In the most invisible part of the. Oh no, that most of those schools, they were pleased as punch to just put it in the most prominent place they could find.
Right next to the pencil sharpener.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for letting us know about that sad news, Alan. Teddy, a lady Teddy, not a teddy for a lady, but a woman named Teddy. Now you're just staring at me again. She said in one of our recent episodes we spoke about sitting Shiva, and I referenced an NPR segment, and I couldn't remember who it was. I knew it was on This American Life, and I couldn't figure out how it related to sitting Shiva. And
right. She
wrote in to just clarify that it was Shalom Auslander, who was the correspondent who did the story.
Okay,
it comes from his book, Foreskin's Lament, which is an excellent title for a book. Which she recommends, by the way.
Okay.
But she says that he was a watcher, which is apparently a tradition according to Orthodox Jewish belief. The soul departs the body at the time of death, but hangs around for a while until the body is buried.
Oh, okay.
And it's a very confusing time for a soul.
Yeah.
So they leave somebody sitting there with them.
I did. Okay. I did watch that part of Beetlejuice.
Oh, right. Yes.
I remember that part of Beetlejuice.
Oh,
I watched the whole movie.
They're so confused in those
they're
moments.
Really confused, yeah.
Anyway.
And also Defending Your Life. Did you see that one?
Oh, yeah. With was that the
Meryl
Albert
Streep
Brooks?
And, yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Heaven Can Wait? That was
Stop it. Just stop naming movies. Okay, so thanks, Teddy, for writing that. Holly wrote in. She said, and this one was really nice. Because we had talked about people converting when they're in a time of crisis, and that people generally don't convert to atheism. Was our guess in a time of crisis? They usually sort of grab for
something comforting.
Well, I find atheism comforting.
I do,
but you
now.
Got to wrap your head around it first,
I do
and
now.
it's not in the moment comforting.
Right.
It's
when I was, it was very scary, and
right.
It was very
right. So Holly wrote in and said, she's right. I'm writing about the podcast where you talk about turning to atheism after someone you love has died. This happened to me 4 years ago when my dad died. We were very close, and I was devastated. I'd been agnostic for a while, but I was so desperate to think that I'd be able to see him again that for the first time in years I began to think that maybe my Catholic upbringing was the way to go. It didn't help that a very Catholic aunt began emailing me. She did mean well, and telling me stories about how when she lost her husband, he would send her signs in the form of the DVD player turning off mysteriously, or a picture moving, or other crazy things. I wanted to believe, so I started entertaining these thoughts for a brief time. Then one day after a few months, I was walking to my car, pissed off that I hadn't seen any signs. I had two choices. Either I could keep hoping that something would happen and my dad would, quote, talk to me somehow, which would mean staying in this rut of grief if he didn't. Or I could realize that there really is no God. My dad's gone, deal with it, and move on. And at that moment, she became a full-on atheist.
Wow.
And she said it was like a weight lifted.
I'm sure it was.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a weight lifting.
Yeah.
But when you're in the midst of belief, it doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen.
No, you would never predict that could possibly be the outcome.
You feel like,
It's
okay,
scary.
I'm just signing up for misery for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
but it's honest misery, so I guess I'll sign up. And then you sign up, and you're like, oh,
Wait a second.
this is so much nicer.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like when gay people come out of the closet.
Indeed. Yeah, and you think
know,
the world's going to crash.
Yeah, but all of a sudden there's these 45-year-old men who just like got out of whatever marriage they were in, and they are clubbing it up.
Oh my God, we've all seen those guys.
Oh my God.
You go to those gay clubs,
time of their
their shirts are off and they don't care. And they are looking at all the young guys just like,
they are 18 again.
yeah, they are.
Like they are.
And it does. It's like a whole,
Yeah.
it's a rebirth.
It's crazy. Ugh, it's a real rebirth.
It is.
Like, Christianity's got that whole born again crap.
Wait-
it doesn't do that.
Wait
to ya.
until you try Born
don't-
Again Gay.
You don't get 45-year-old men dancing around with their shirt off at church,
Acting like fools.
acting like,
They act the
throwing
fool.
themselves at the young, pretty things.
Yeah.
Although that happens, that's midlife crisis.
Yeah, that's true.
That happens all the time.
That happens to
Actually, I just described
straight 40,
something that
45-year-old men
clearly
too.
all the time.
Yeah.
Damn
Anyway, but they're not as fancy.
No, well, no, they buy fancy cars.
That's
too.
true. That's true. They've got the Corvette,
Yeah.
so that's nice. I'm gonna do one more. Anne just sent us the thing. She said because we talked about Martin Luther, and she said that she was raised Lutheran, and she wanted to add that Martin did indeed get fed up with the church, and he was brave, but not crazy brave. He had the backing of some very powerful political leaders who had just been itching to reduce the power of the church, and were happy to have a champion or sucker to back. Anyway, so
That
thanks.
explains it.
Yeah, well, it explains a lot actually, and you don't always hear that part of it, but that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
In the history and blah blah blah.
Awesome.
And I
Cool.
wanted to shout out to Brad, who sent us a voicemail, but we're not going to be able to get to his voicemail. But I just wanted, because he's in Alabama and he's in the Army and he's an atheist in Alabama, and I always feel
big shout out.
What up?
All right. Well, here we go. We're moving on to the voicemails, right?
Yeah.
Is that with the cue that I was picking up?
Go ahead.
That's what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we just go to our first voicemail?
Okay.
Hi, Frank and Dan. This is David in San Antonio, Texas. And I started listening to you guys when I was living in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The first thing I want to say is I really appreciate you guys having the podcast. It really helped me keep my sanity over there. I was listening to your podcast, and I just had to stop right in the middle of it and call you. First thing you were talking about was the Muslim clothing and how you don't mind when people are practicing their religion. It's when they start pushing their religion on you. And having lived in the Middle East for 13 years, I can tell you that as a group, it's very typical for them not to live and let live. We lived in a compound where they were allowed to wear headscarves. Then pretty soon they were covering their faces. Then pretty soon they wanted to cover up the windows in the gym so the women could have a workout without men watching them. And one thing led to another. And then they would make comments to the Western women who weren't dressed like them. And it just keeps going on and on. They don't live and let live as a rule. Maybe the ones in America, not so much. I want to say I appreciate you guys, and you're doing great. Keep up the good work. Adios.
All right. Well, that's interesting.
It is
first-hand experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that we could be of service while you were in Riyadh.
Yeah.
That's quite a thing.
Yeah. Riyadh, wow.
My thinking is this, that, when we're talking about our culture, because we can't do anything about anybody else's culture.
True.
But when we're talking about our culture, my thought is that we as a society say, hey, dress how you want to. And then we also as a society say, hey, stop telling nobody gets to tell anybody how to dress. And then I mean those are the norms of our society. So it doesn't matter how much they want to.
Right.
Our social norms do not allow that.
Yeah. And I mean, Yeah, that's
And the social norms in other countries are going to be, of course, wildly different.
sure, especially where there's a majority of Muslims.
Yes, indeed.
You see it going totally different direction.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm open to the possibility that we're wrong.
Sure.
About this.
Sure.
I'm totally, but I've had the experiences I've had with Muslims in this country. I just feel that I just don't see it as a problem.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's kind of like saying that atheists are bullying the Christians or whatever. You can't when you're such a wildly small minority. How worried can we be that they're going to try and push their ways on us?
Well, Dan, it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope.
Oh,
and
well,
we all know
that's a good
that
point.
slippery slopes always go someplace bad.
Manifest themselves. Yeah, exactly. All slippery slopes lead down.
Yeah.
And down is bad.
Well, because it's a slope,
right?
And it's slippery. I mean,
if it were slippery and you went up, then gravity has stopped working.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Clearly. That made so much sense to me. Thank you, Dan.
Good. I'm glad that we've cleared that up.
All right. Well, we have another one.
Another slippery
voicemail.
slope? Oh, okay.
Maybe a little slippery.
Hey, Frank and Dan. John from Indiana. I wanted to let you know that I have finally caught up on every podcast. So I was listening to the most recent one and about Colorado Springs and the chapel. I have been there a couple of times for shooting competitions at the Olympic Center, and the chapel is open to the public. So if you wanted to go, you can go. Now, getting into the academy might be a little difficult because I was doing Marine Corps stuff at the time. But I know it's open to the public once you get onto the academy. And I want to give a shout out to Squirtle Durgle Tickle Dickle Pony because that's awesome. All right. Love the podcast. I'm going to start supporting you guys here in probably about a week, and I'm buying the shirts. So have a good night, guys. Bye.
Okay. All right. Cute. What I really want to take away from that particular
what Dan
voicemail was that I'm always glad to find when we have a sharpshooter on our side.
So when the shit hits the fan,
there's something comforting
someone
about knowing that there are some guys out there who can hit a mark. That's nice. That's nice. All right. Well, well, maybe we'll have to go there. I think we should go. Actually, I think I might have an in too. I know a cadet there.
Really?
Yeah. My sister-in-law is going to be marrying him soon.
As in, oh, okay, yeah, got it.
Anyway,
I didn't know. Yeah. Anyways, that works.
Andrea's sister.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Well, that could be cool, but it would mean that we'd have to go to Colorado Springs,
which means we could see some other churches too. We could go hit on some definitely not gay pastors. Oh my god! Isn't that where what's his name was from? Was practicing?
Haggart?
Is that who it was?
I think so.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was in Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Crazy.
Yeah, really. All right.
Well, and also, okay, so
we have some donors.
We do have some donors we got to get to. I skipped it last week, so my bad.
Shame on Dan.
Shame on all of us. Shame on every last one of us.
Shame on Dan.
Stop it. We had a bunch of people buying shirts. Thank you for buying shirts. Remember that you can buy your Thank God I'm Atheist t-shirts by going to thankgodimatheist.com.
Yeah.
There's a whole little t-shirt button there.
Yeah. Send us a photo of you in the t-shirt.
We got our first one on the Facebook page. I think we got it today.
Yay!
So,
I haven't checked the Facebook page.
So yeah, we've got a photo
I'm looking right now.
And he claims that he hasn't been attacked wearing our shirt. So that's nice.
That's good. Oh no.
What did you look at?
Some Google glasses that a certain friend of ours is wearing.
Oh.
And took a selfie wearing.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Frank got hung up on his personal Facebook page.
Oh my God, sorry folks.
Anyway, I'm going to thank donors while you're looking at things. Douglas gave us a very lovely donation, a one-time donation. Thanks, Douglas. We have a new automatic, a new subscriber named Barton We appreciate that, Barton.
Barton.
Really, yeah. And a cool name.
Yeah, that's a great name.
All the stuff. Steven gave us a one-time donation, and Paula gave us an incredibly generous one-time donation.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
everyone.
And Paula's a friend of mine, so
Oh, that's nice.
extra double thanks to you, Paula.
Isn't that nice?
It's very nice. She's a delight, that Paula. Anyway, did you find? I think. So you guys can go on to the Facebook page. Thank God I'm Atheist. Facebook.com/TGIAtheist to see one of our faithful listeners. It's Thane,
Is it
right?
Thane? Yeah.
It's Thane.
It's Thane.
Go and look at Thane sporting his fancy shirt.
Let's see. I'm trying to get to it. Okay, I'm looking at recent posts. Ah, there he is.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's a handsome shirt. You look good, Thane. All right, so.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk about...
Let's ring some bells.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding.
Ding,
You know,
ding, ding.
The Christmas season is soon upon us.
Well, if you're in Venezuela,
It's already here.
it's already here. It's already happened.
Right.
We're like 8 days into Christmas.
Into Christmas. On the 22nd day of Christmas, on the
40th
43rd day of Christmas. So one of the things that's ubiquitous here in the United States when it comes to Christmas time are people in red standing out in the cold in front of a grocery store ringing a bell.
Shopping malls, too.
Shopping malls, basically anywhere
really.
where commerce
Corners.
is happening and they're going to get a lot of people. And they're ringing their bell so that you go and you put your money into their bucket.
Loose change. That's all they're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to drop it more than that, great. It's welcome. But they just collecting change.
They're just trying to and they're just trying to give it to some charity.
The Salvation Armies who are
The Salvation Army.
Yeah.
They are an occupying force, and I am uncomfortable with there being other armies in our
There's one right over on 9th West.
an army.
No, the Salvation Army.
Oh yeah.
They have a facility.
They do.
They have a camp.
We should.
They have a base.
Attack them.
They have a base.
They have
over
a
on 9th
fort.
West.
It's yeah, exactly. So what's wrong with that? There they are. Raising money for charity.
Yeah.
And
seems like a good thing, right?
It seems like a great thing.
It's the Christmas season. People are feeling a little generous. They're in the giving mood. That's part of the season.
And you and I are not we are the type of atheists who celebrate Christmas.
yeah.
Not the Christ part.
Yeah. No. I'm picking out my inflatables for the yard as we speak.
So stupid. Anyway, now I'm off track entirely.
Were you imagining my house with inflatables out front?
My God. Because our neighborhood doesn't have enough. Anyway, the point is, the reason for the season for us is a celebration.
Friends, family.
Having fun.
together.
And I'm all about giving.
Enjoying the days will soon be getting longer.
Right, exactly.
That
whole solstice thing.
And not not even going in, but just the fact that it is so nice just to mark the day when all of a sudden seasonal depression can start ending.
Right, exactly. To mark the day when, okay, it doesn't get any worse now. Now it just gets better.
Well, it does get colder.
Well, it does.
We do still have to get through January and February.
Right. But the light situation.
The light starts getting better.
Gets better.
By February, it's totally manageable.
Right, exactly. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
We were turned on to a clip of a radio show from Australia. Our Aussie listeners might be familiar with it. We're not. But it was a show, and the two hosts both were gay people.
They were. What happened to them?
Were and are, as far as I know.
Okay.
But at the time of that recording,
they were gay.
I can verify that they were gay.
Okay, perfect.
And they were interviewing Major Andrew Crabe. Crabe. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. And it's probably
Crybaby.
Crybaby. Yes, that's it.
Or just Crybaby.
Who's a major in the Salvation Army. He's their regional or their territorial media relations director. And they were asking him questions.
Major, even.
He's a major.
He's high up.
Oh, yeah.
In the ranks.
It's so stupid, that whole rank thing.
Yeah,
you are not a real army, people.
They've set it up though.
Oh yeah, they follow
as though it were.
Yeah, they've got ranks.
They're a salvation army.
Yes,
they are saving,
marching as to war.
Well, and I don't know, they wear uniforms. That's what you were just saying, right?
Yeah, they wear
uniforms. They have brass bands.
They do. They love all that stuff.
Their hymns are entirely their own.
Are they?
Oh, I was reading this thing that they take pub songs back in the day. They would take pub songs and change them into Jesus-y songs
and ruin them.
But then they would still have these and actually the whole brass band thing that I actually, once I saw images, I was like, oh yeah, that is a Salvation Army. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Because anyways.
Guys and Dolls. It's one of the little things in Guys and Dolls.
Yeah. But apparently they're updating that.
Oh no.
They're getting a little bit more contemporary. They realized that was meant to be that was contemporary for the time, the 1890s and early.
So now they're going to Christian rock.
So I didn't get that far into it, but they said that they've mixed some other instruments into the.
They got the new. It's the new thing, man. They're doing the dubstep is what they're doing. They've got the Salvation Army dubstep happening.
I've heard dubstep Christian before.
Salvation Army.
I've heard Christian.
That was my dubstep impression.
Dubstep.
Yes.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I need to look that up.
It wasn't even good dubstep, if there is such a thing. Which there is. I've
enjoyed some dubstep. Yeah. You have to learn to be okay with it once you go to Burning Man more than once. Yeah. You've got a whole week of it.
Well, when you guys came back that first time,
they're backing off of it now.
Are they?
Yeah, the last couple times.
Oh no!
That first year we came.
Well, that's what everybody was.
It was all it was.
That's what it all was. I mean, that's what music was.
Okay, is this segment about dubstep? Because we've just. I'm just saying that the
early 2010s were all about dubstep.
Yes, that's true. Anyway, so Salvation Army, we should be clear. This is not a charity organization. It's a religion.
Yeah, it's a denomination.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't?
Well,
their building looks like a church.
Well,
because it is.
Yeah, but they just bought somebody else's church.
But what I didn't know is that they started off, the founders were Methodist. And so a lot of the belief structure, a lot of the things that it kind of smacks of just boring Methodism.
Right. But they have ranks.
Well, yeah.
So that's good.
Brass bands.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So clearly not.
And women can preach.
Oh,
they can give sermons.
Boy,
shit.
You know what?
And there's no distinction of the sexes as far as the ranking and whatnot.
That's an interesting point because what I'm about to say will be in conflict with that when you consider the fact that the Bible explicitly says that women shouldn't preach. The Bible itself explicitly says that.
What?
It says that women should remain silent and the men blah blah blah.
Well, I'm going to have to rethink this whole Bible thing.
Yes, I mean your belief, your fervent belief in the Bible, maybe you should rethink it.
Yeah,
Frank.
well that's because I know it was difficult being an atheist and also being a total believer of the Bible. There were some. It was a challenge, but I was making it work. But if you're telling me that that's in there, Dan,
yeah, it's in.
I might have to rethink that.
It's I think it's in Corinthians or something that women should remain silent. Anyway, so the fact that they're willing to bend that makes it all the more baffling. Well, maybe we should just let Major Andrew Crabe speak for himself.
I do want to talk to you about the Salvationist Handbook of Doctrine. Are you still using the Salvation Story as a way of coaching your soldiers and the people entering your membership?
It may be one that some people use. Yeah.
Because it's really interesting. I had a little read last night, all 170 pages of it, and I came across a couple of chapters that kind of worried me, one of which is the problem of evil. And it talks about human wickedness and it posing an enormous problem for Christians. And it refers to the Romans, which is Book 1, 18 to 32. And it talks about the evil of women engaging in natural sexual relations with other women and the same way that men abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Look, it kind of concerns me that although this says that although they know God's righteous decree, that those who do such things deserve death. That's in Romans 18-32, and that's in your book of doctrines. That's part of the handbook that you give out to your soldiers. Now, if I'm a fledgling homosexual and I feel that I might need some religious dogma or guidance, and I go to the Salvation, and I haven't declared my sexuality to myself, so I'm not going to declare it to you. If I go and I read that, and I connect with my sexuality, Andrew, then that says, according to the Salvation Army, that I deserve death. How do you respond to that as part of your doctrine?
Well, that's a part of our belief system.
So we should die.
We have an alignment to the scriptures that's our belief.
Wow, so we should die. So this is on page it's on page 28 of the Salvation Story, which you can download online. It's wonderfully available. I love that. If we go a bit further into sin, which is on page 61 and 63, again, it's going into Romans again. And look, I accept that you're out there wanting to help people. I don't consider myself to be part of the oppressed or the marginalised. I don't accept that this sexuality that is part of my DNA is a choice. I also don't accept the support of any religion in a financial sense. And this is what the gay community is up in arms about, that you're proposing in your religious doctrine, in the way that you train, this is part of your training of your soldiers, that because we're gay, we must die. If you go to Romans, book 1, 18-32, it's all there, mate. I mean, how can you stand by that? How is that Christian?
Well, because that is part of our Christian doctrine.
But how is it Christian? Shouldn't it be about love?
That's our understanding of that. Well, the love that we would show is about that consideration for all human beings to come to know salvation.
Or die.
Well, yes.
Well, yes.
Yeah, clearly.
You have a choice. You can either not be gay or die. Those are valid choices.
Well, it reminds me of, what was it, Cake or Death?
Right. Yes, exactly.
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll take cake.
Oh. Well, here you go. Some cake. Yeah, this isn't quite as nice as Cake or Death.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's
not gay or death.
No, it's straight or death.
Straight or death.
Yeah, that's not as good as cake. I mean, I like being straight, but for you, I would imagine that it's not as good as cake.
What if, I'm allergic to cake.
You're not allergic to cake.
Yeah, I'm not. I've been baking cakes lately.
Anyway, the idea here, what we're getting at is that, that's some extreme shit right there. That is, I mean, believe me, if you're gonna profess that you believe the Bible hardcore, that's part of it. That's in there.
Yeah, but they're still picking and choosing. There's no way to be fully biblical. There's no way. The whole thing is full of so many inconsistencies. There's no way to know which one is the right one.
Right.
The right inconsistency to follow.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I pointed out, like,
it's whatever fits you in the moment.
The fact that women are preaching in the church goes against. I found it. It's 1 Corinthians 14:34. It says explicitly, "Let your women keep silence in churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law."
Well, I think you should send that to Major Andrew Crabe.
Right.
Yeah.
Not only I mean, the truth is that, of course, they're picking and choosing.
Yeah.
It's not like their women are going and buying turtle doves to sacrifice after their period. That's also They should.
They should.
Yeah. I mean,
what a wonderful tradition.
It's a
beautiful, beautiful tradition.
Once they've emerged from their period of uncleanness, they can rejoin society. Until then, in your tent.
Yeah.
In your tent, woman.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, don't sit in those chairs that those women on the rag have sat on. No. You can't sit on the same chair.
You just don't go into the tent.
Well, the problem is that not everybody goes into their tent like a good woman should, and then you got to go around, and every seat you sit on, you have to ask the woman who sat on it before, "Hey, by the way, you're not on your period, are you? Because I can't sit in that chair."
Wow. Why, that's tough. but it's a beautiful tradition.
It's a beautiful, loving faith tradition.
Yeah.
It's how we show our love.
Oh,
no, I mean,
nice.
This is... So I mean, I guess the point. So here's the question. This raises the question. Obviously, there's a lot of hatred there. They don't like the gays.
Right.
There's a lot of that. But they're doing good work with the money. You know, they're giving to homeless. They're giving to the needy.
Yeah.
So where do we fall on giving money into that bucket?
I say don't. I say there are other causes that you can feel a little bit better about giving to.
And that's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the whole idea is, yes, you could give to them and you would probably be doing good in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you hang on to that change and you give it to an organization that does good in the world and also doesn't hate on other people,
Right.
you're doing that much better.
Because while they might be giving clothes to homeless, I mean, I don't know what kind of strings are attached.
Right.
To be honest, that would be something to really look into. But I'm already really uncomfortable with the Salvationists, and I see them outside the grocery store, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, and also,
does this large corporation who granted you permission to be here really know who you guys are?
Right.
Like, really?
Also, the bell ringing gets old. It's annoying.
It is.
Ding, 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 ding. Shut up.
Yeah.
Can you honk a horn or something?
That would get annoying probably a little quicker.
Yeah.
What I would like is for one of them to show up with a tuba. I'd give money for that.
This is not for your organization. This is for you because I like your tuba.
Where's the box? Where's the hat? Come on.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to support your organization.
I'll throw some money in. Yeah,
but I really like what you're doing.
Yeah,
that is some good tuba-ing that you're doing.
Yeah, I like the uniform too, sir.
You
Excellent.
are fancy.
Well done.
What are you doing after your shift?
Yeah. Are you going to the officers' club? Are you an officer or are you enlisted?
Oh, good Lord.
How do I climb through those ranks?
I did like on the Salvation Army's Facebook page, they show a picture of or not Facebook page, sorry, their Wikipedia page, the Wikipedia page about the Salvation Army. They show a picture of a fake money, a little $3 bill. Oh, you remember the old saying, "You're queer as a $3 bill"?
Yeah,
so
I've heard that before.
But this one is a queer dollar, and it's like printed up with like a rainbow flag on it, and it basically says, "I'm not going to, until you guys accept gays, this will not be real money."
Right.
And then they put that into the bucket.
Oh, clever.
Because fuck you, that's why.
That's voting with your dollar.
Or with your not dollar.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you're telling them about it.
Right, exactly. You're letting them know.
Because if you're just not supporting, you're not really.
Then they're not hearing your message.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah, why are donations down this year?
Right, exactly.
They weren't ringing the bell loud enough.
When you get out there and ring that bell, I need 33 rings a minute.
Yeah. Well, what they need to do, I mean, you've seen the sign twirlers for like tax.
Oh, yeah.
The income tax people or cell phones,
pizza places or
pizza
whatever.
places.
Sure.
They have the guy out there with the twirling thing dancing around. That's what they need.
That's what they need.
They need
Twirling that bucket.
And they should
need to be
position
clever
themselves
with the
at
bucket.
off ramps.
That's true.
There are plenty of people asking for money.
Those people rake it in.
At the I don't know.
I think they'd have a fight on their hands. I'll tell you that.
I don't know how much they're raking it in, and I think
I'm not
saying that like it's like clearly they're driving home in their Bentley,
right? Yeah,
no, that's not. It's a horrible thing to spend a day out in the cold at the bottom of an off ramp.
Right.
My joke was a little different than that.
Right. Oh. Frank's better than me, everybody. Just so you know.
What? No, that's not what I'm saying. Dan. God.
Anywho, that's what we're getting at, people.
Yeah.
Is there are better places for your money to go than somebody's religion.
Yeah.
No matter how much.
Because that's what it is. They're passing the plate. It's just in public.
Yeah.
And the cause might be a soup kitchen or a thrift store or whatever, but it's still supporting. It's what they do.
Right.
Right.
And so,
And part of what they do is part of this belief crap that is no good.
Mm-hmm.
And why not just support some atheist cause?
Yeah. Or not specifically an atheist cause, but a cause that's not associated with a religion.
Right. Sure.
I encourage all of you to really think about how you're going to give, remembering that there's a donate button on our webpage. But no, think about how you're going to give this Christmas season. And yeah, maybe that's how you should celebrate your Christmas, is to really put some thought into where your giving money is going to go. I find that a nice thought.
That's a nice thought, Dan.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Your thought was nice.
Well, if we're idiots and you need to tell us about it, you can let us know a number of ways.
You could send us an email at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
You could go on the Facebook page. That's facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And very publicly post on our wall.
Yeah, post a picture of you in your shirts. Everybody should be doing this. I love it. Thanks, Thang.
And you could also leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442. We'd like to thank the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music.
It's fancy.
We like it.
We enjoy it.
It's fantastic. All right. Well, that's another one, Dan.
Yeah. We will talk to you guys soon. Next week is a big one for us.
2 years.
2 years. We mark 2 years next week.
Kind of crazy.
So
all right.
If we make it there, we'll talk to you then.
Or we could just stop now.
We'll decide that later. Anyway, in the meantime, thanks everybody.
Bye-bye.